Welcome to UnJustified, where we always cover the truth, the facts, the good, the bad, the ugly, on an unbiased and sometimes very unpopular opinion. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe now and hit the notification bell, and that way you will receive all of our upcoming videos. Thank you so much for being here, and we do hope you enjoy today's video. Okay, we all know this guy, or most of us do. Adventures with a Purpose. Jared L. 5-6 hours ago, this has really started making its rounds on social media, and I thought I might as well bring it to you guys. AWP, how they got started, who is in AWP, and things of that nature. I also found this video where he was interviewed by a YouTube creator, or I'm not even sure if she's still a YouTube creator, but this is on Facebook. This is a very interesting interview that she did. This is one of the ex-people that was with, and it does say it is enter the child who is under the age of 14. This happened in 1992 between October the 1st and November the 1st. And she was 9 to 10 years old, and he was 17 at the time. Okay, this one is charge 1. The offense date is October the 1st, 1992. It is R of a child, first degree felony. The second charge, offense date January the 1st, 1992. Same charge, first degree felony. Jared was born September the 16th, 1975. So that would have made him 17 years old, doing the math. And he does have to be in court on November the 30th, 2022 at 10:30 a.m. And this summons was issued on November the 3rd, just 2 days ago. Now, I can assure you these paperworks and documents are legit. I got these from a very legitimate source. Actually, it is a retired FBI agent, and you're about to see who it was. But anyway, this is a statement of the probable cause. The defendant and the victim are cousins. In 1992, the victim was between 9 and 10 years old. The defendant is 7 years older than the victim. Just before November 1st, 1992, the victim lived in Ephraim, which is located in Sanpete County. About this time, the defendant and the victim were in the victim's bedroom when the defendant pinned the victim to the ground, pulled her underwear down, and put himself in her. During another incident that same year, the defendant and victim were at their grandparents' house in Manti when the defendant laid on top of the victim and put himself in her. This information was obtained from the following witness, Detective Corey Devin Krebs, dated November the 3rd, 2022. And here is just more legal information on the case, both charges again, and the case numbers for each charge. And this is more information about the court appearance on November the 3rd, 2022, 10:30 a.m. in West Courtroom 2. And this is the source of the legal documents that I have saved. Jennifer Coffindaffer, and most everyone knows her. She is a retired FBI agent. Now, the second reply here, you will see I do have it blacked out. And that is for the simple fact that that is the cousin that is accusing Jared of this. Now, I'm not saying if it's true or if it's not, but what I have seen and the emails that I'm going to be showing you as well, Jared has admitted this. And if that's a fact, and she was 9 years old and him 17, I'm completely disgusted, even though obviously I had no clue about any of this when I was full on supporting him. There will be no support from me anymore. That is a boundary you do not cross. Now, he does have his reasons, and he explains those as well, and I will be showing you that too. However, he was 17 years old. He knew better. Now, that said, if this isn't true, okay, but I'm led to believe that this is true. If these emails are legit, and I believe they are. Now, the first is a post you will see, and it is somebody that does not believe her. It says, I think a lot of people want to take down AWP. He definitely has a target on his back. He's embarrassed law enforcement and now this issue with his cousin. For her sake, I hope she has a clean case, because if there has been issues within the family or even trying to extort money from him, it's all going to get ugly. There's always a reason or an agenda behind waiting years until someone becomes high profile. She's already made mistakes by trying to gaslight him on social media instead of going to the authorities. Getting this out of the way now might be the better option for him and AWP. He's moved on and done something good with his life. She hasn't. This is the cousin's reply. Ouch. I have done nothing good with my life. Do we know each other personally for you to be making such a bold statement about me and my life? Nothing I have said so far has not turned out to be true, even though I was called a liar the whole time. Why are you convinced this is a money grab? It is a criminal case. Utah versus Jared. How do I gain financially from that? I do not want a penny from this. I never asked for it when discussed with the prosecutor, and he never brought it up either. Feel free to ask me about anything else so I can let you know the truth. Assuming did not do you any good in this instance. I do have a reason for waiting so long, and as previously stated, I had no proof until recently. It's been this hard on me with written proof and family that testified in my behalf that he admitted to them what he had done to me. Could you imagine if I tried this with nothing but my word against his? We've seen exactly how that played out in the previous threads before the charges were made public. I was told to shut up by the mod until there was proof. People said horrible things about me, messaged me things even worse. This is, had, and will be one of the hardest things I've ever done. I wanted to be sure if I did it that I was able to meet the burden of proof. Thank you, Utah, for being thoughtful enough to victims to have no statutes of limitations to protect these type of crimes. Okay, here is one of the cousin's posts that she put on social media when she first learned that her cousin Jared was a popular YouTuber. It says, please beware. I had no idea until recently when I had the unfortunate chance of coming across a video of my childhood Jared, my cousin, yes, my own flesh and blood. And I wasn't his only family victim. Who knows how many others are out there that aren't part of our family. Due to his diving group, Adventures with Purpose, this man is regarded as a hero and an angel, and he is invited into people's homes with welcoming, loving arms. He has been through the system, CPS, the Mormon Church, therapies, and so many more, as you'll be able to tell from his writing. But I do know for a fact that he did not start with me, and he didn't stop with me either. He at one point, like you will read, did verbally admit to my mother that he molested me, obviously skimming over the more horrific parts, like his attempted sodomizing of her daughter directly above her, my grandfather and grandmother's heads, by the way, and the fact that at the age of 9 or 10, he gave me a yeast infection from R-ing me, and I had no idea, so I had to go through the trauma of my mother and my grandmother finding white stuff in my panties, and treating me horribly and questioning me and punishing me for the problem. When he told her, she started to cry. She hugged him and told him that she forgave him. She never turned him into the police, and I was never gotten any form of help or anybody to talk to about it. We went out to go travel on the carnival, which made me unable to be anywhere for more than a week, which meant that I couldn't say anything to anyone. My own mother protected him and never even talked to me about it, or other than to tell me that she had been blank and her story was worse than mine. He finally admitted it in writing because he and the family are all very sure that the statutes of limitations have passed, and he's safe, so he can. But just so you're aware and can keep your daughters safe, be very careful around this man. That sounds very legit to me. I'm sorry, but it just does. There again, when I first read this, I was like, yes, it sounds very convincing, but I don't know. So I continued to read on, and I'm going to do the same with you. And the more I read, the more I'm convinced that this did happen. Okay, this is an email that the victim, the cousin, sent to Jared on February the 4th, 2022. Do you feel better as a person doing things like this? Does this make you feel like less of a child molesting monster parading around in human skin? There is no forgiveness for what you did to me in my home in Utah. Grandma and Grandpa's house in Las Vegas, and right above Grandma and Grandpa's head in their very own truck. The rest of the family is just about as much to blame as you, because they didn't turn you in when they knew better, and I was just a child and I did not know better. And yet you're still welcomed at family get-togethers or like my grandfather's funeral. And while in the parking lot getting ready to get out of the car and attend, I seen your face and I became so violently ill that I couldn't even attend. I had to drive down the street to the CVS and watched it all on Zoom. All these people may be calling you a hero and saying that you're doing such great things, but we both know the truth about you, and you're obviously not ashamed of your past. But I also am not ashamed of my past, and I have a voice, and I use it as much as I possibly can. Your secrets are not hidden. This is Jared's reply to her on the very same day, February the 4th, 2022. I'm so very sorry for the things that we cannot change. It is unfortunate that the L and J lineage experienced the shit that you, I, and many of our cousins were brought into. Like yourself, I was once a victim by multiple people both in and out of the family. It is unfortunate when families like ours experience molestation. Many of us cousins got together to acknowledge what had happened in our youth and made a pact to put an end to it and to protect our children from anything like that ever happening to them. I have myself tried to apologize to you, to have an open conversation with you about it, to answer any questions you may have. The first time that I apologized to you, I'm sorry for the way that it was handled, for I was under the impression that your mother knew and that I felt it was appropriate at the time to have the conversation with both of you. I did not mean to embarrass you or catch you off guard. The second time that I tried was not to clear my own conscience, but to help you heal and help you with any struggles you may have been having, as many of us had to learn how to overcome and move forward. You essentially told me to go fuck myself and told me how I had embarrassed you the first time around. I am sorry. My understanding is that other cousins also have tried to have the same conversation with you. We are now all adults, and it is healthy for us to acknowledge and address those unfortunate circumstances from our past in our child and adolescent years. While there is a lot of shit that has happened throughout my own life personally, from molestation, abandonment, growing up in foster care, and any other shit along the way, I would not change a thing, for it has made me who I am today. I cannot apologize for others for anything that has happened to you in your life, but I have done my best to acknowledge directly with you my own mistakes. I hold no secrets as to this with my own parents and Grandma and Grandpa, with your mother, aunt, my own wife, and children. I have even discussed publicly about my situation and the unfortunate shit that has happened within families. Do we pinpoint it to the L and J lineage, or do we pinpoint it to Mormonism? I do not have an answer. There is no way for me to understand the hatred and resentment that you must have for me over 3 decades later. I heard about your driving into the cemetery a few weeks later. Trust me, had I known that you had a desire to be there and that I was the only reason keeping you away, I would have 100% given up my time to do what I could to avoid the ceremony so that you would feel comfortable and have your time with Grandma and the rest of the family. It is your decision and your choice if you ever want to accept my apology. I have made peace in my life with all things bad, including this situation. If you ever want to discuss, I am always available to have that conversation with you either in person or the phone. Sincerely, Jared. And this is the cousin's reply back the very next day on February the 5th. If you truly want to apologize, then pay for your actions. Walk into a police station with me and confess your actions. Get it on record and have yourself registered as an SO that you are. My only regret in life was not being as open about you and your abuse to anyone and everyone who would listen, like I am now, and turning you into the police like you should have been. I don't understand how you can try and get me to sympathize with you and your past issues. Not at all. It angers me twice as much to know that not only did you know firsthand the torture that you are inflicting upon me because you experienced it yourself. That makes you an even bigger monster than I have had pictured in my mind. Absolutely disgusting. You are an emotional vampire. I noticed all the therapy terms that you used in your message. Typical narcissism at its best. How somebody could ever come to peace with damaging such a young, innocent human being is beyond me. Proof of a completely broken mind assuming that there would be any kind of peace after those years of actions, or that peace should even be deserved. You are a pedo. Do not act like you were not old enough to know what you were doing to me during the ages that you were. You could have been tried as an adult at that age, and should have been. And as to the comments about my life and things that have happened to me, I don't know who or why you're even discussing me with, but I can guarantee you that nobody really knows anything, because just like your situation, I have kept my mouth shut until recently, and I don't talk to any of the family, despite what other, as you say, cousins have come to you and said. So be a real man and turn yourself in and pay for your crimes. Or continue to be the small, sad, mental midget that couldn't keep his libido under control and blames it on his past. And Jared's reply the very same day, February the 5th. Unfortunately, your desire to have a 46-year-old male live with the mistake of a 12-year-old simply is not realistic. Thank God we are not forever judged for our actions as youth. And I'm grateful that many of us cousins acknowledge and stop those sins which happened to us and those sins we once committed as a result of grooming. It is healthy for you to now be open and talk about the past. You, as a full-grown woman in your early 40s, are to be commended for facing and standing up to those actions which happened to you in your past. Spread awareness and stop the cycle. We, as cousins within the family, have for our own children and grandchildren. Protect your own children and grandchildren, as we have to help the world to become a better place. We live in a society that acknowledges the mistakes made in the past, accepting those who have proven to change. My life holds no secrets, and everyone in my office feels your pain and has seen this email string, for I don't filter my own emails. They know me for the man I am and not the mistakes of a 12-year-old who learned to recognize the cycle and break the cycle, as many of us cousins did. You were younger and not ready to accept my apology and recognize the steps we made for future generations to protect them. I hope you can one day find forgiveness and peace. Feel free to have any last words, for I will not respond to any further attacks as to my character today, based upon those actions as a youth. Should you desire a healthy adult conversation as to the past, I'm open to helping you through the acceptance and growth that many of us faced and have dealt with. If you have not done so already, I may suggest reaching out to blank and lean on her for guidance. As one closer to your age who within the family has gone through this with us, I'm not sure your relationship with aunt or your mother is leaning on them as well, for they experienced much of the same in their own youth. Sincerely, Jared. So the cousin makes a note here on this particular email from Jared. She says that the person he refers to as blank would be my cousin and one of his previous victims prior to me. He referred me to her, so that way she could help me learn how to forgive him. Not to mention, unprovoked by me, she contacted me a few days after these emails happened, and she tried to convince me that all of this is not as bad as I see it. This is the cousin's reply to Jared on February the 5th. Let's do some math here. I was 9 or 10 when living in Utah, and you forced me to have S with you on my bathroom floor upstairs. You are 6 or more years older than me, and that makes you older than 12. In Las Vegas at Grandma and Grandpa's house, you were living there, and you had your own car, a Volkswagen Beetle, and was driving it when it ran. So please stop making it sound as if you were a young child during the time that you were molesting me. Maybe you started that young with the others, but as you are not willing to face your wrongdoing in a proper fashion, then that is on you and you alone. Anyone who supports you and your sick, delusional fantasy of forgiving yourself for the pain and suffering you caused, and willingly and knowingly caused not only a child, but your own family member. But I do appreciate your admitting it all in writing. And Jared's reply, you are welcome. I hope it helps in your healing process, Jared. Okay, I'm going to show you some things that I have saved along the way. Of course, I've redacted people's names because, well, I'm just not going to put their names out there. But this is some opinions that have been floating around today within the last few hours about this whole situation. This one says, wow, these messages are so awful. So much minimizing of his own hideous behavior and so much deflection of blame, all while blaming his victim for not being ready to accept his apology. The other one, no kidding. Not being familiar with him, I just checked out his website. He thinks very highly of himself, and he just oozes manipulative language. Total creep. Also, Jared claims to have been 12 when he was actually at least 16 or 17 at the time of the incident, and his cousin was 9. One says gaslighting, and I felt like it was really gaslighting as well. I mean, I'm just being honest. She has been trying for years and couldn't get a DA to prosecute. Utah agreed to. Other states like Nevada let him get away with it. She has been vocal. She just did not report this. In what world are these effing idiots? A child has been R'd. No effing way is that okay because he was good or helped. He is the lowest of the scum. He should be put down like the animal that he is. I agree. It's shocking to see people actually defend him. These are the people I've dedicated my life to fighting against. These are the same people that kidnap children, kill their partners with DB. These are the people we need to rid of our society. Another replies, totally, I am effing angry. Words, sorry, but this is so messed up. How can they even begin to think that his help and what that scum did is unforgettable? I feel like I'm in the twilight zone with so many people still trying to make excuses for him and blame the victim. AWP has also known about this for months. Wow, effing pervert and absolutely sickening. I hope no one supports them now, that he's actually been charged and it's public information. I don't care if it was in 1992. R is R. It's not all of them. One can't assume that it is all of AWP. An ex-diver said they all knew. Even if untrue, it's Jared's business. You're funding a R-ing incestuous pedo. Another one says, in my eyes, he's innocent until proven guilty. The reply, he has already provided a written statement admitting it, so now what is your excuse for not caring? And that is true. He did. Now we can sit here and argue all day that these emails are false and they're fake and this, that, and the other. But the bottom line is those emails was enough proof for him to be charged. So obviously a grand jury believed these emails to be true, and he was charged with the crime. On Thursday, November the 4th, 2022, Jared from AWP was charged with 2 felony counts of child R. The majority excused him for the lies in the Kylie Rodney case because of the good deed of finding Kylie Rodney. You do not excuse this, so don't. And this is just one of many, many, many of the same sort of comment that I read today. I respected Adventures with a Purpose so much, but Jared admits to R-ing his 9-year-old cousin and giving her an STD at 9 years old. This little girl is not the only family member that's accusing him. I cannot condone this, and the whole AWP team knew. Your purpose of playing poor and exploiting the living hell out of victims for mega money. He recently bought a mansion. Enjoy jail, you pervert. Hope your cousin that you R'd 2 times takes every penny. Well, see, that's the thing. This is not a civil case. This isn't about money. This is a criminal case. So the cousin isn't suing for money, just trying to get justice for what happened to her when she was 9 years old. And from the way I've read this, and even seeming like Jared has admitted this, that she wasn't the only victim. Essay of a minor. Now, this is a statute of limitations in the state of Utah. It gives the section, codes, and all of that. Utah law provides no statute of limitations, period, that applies to the essay or molestation of a minor child. In other words, the prosecution for these crimes against children can be commenced more than 4 years after the crime allegedly occurred. Now, this is the law for children 14 and under. Now, there is a different statute for children ages 14 to 18 on this statute, and that is a 10-year. I'm about to show you that one as well. So there is 2 different statutes for essay of a minor. It depends on the age of the minor. In this case, 9 years old, 10 years old. Now, this one, statute of limitations for unlawful essay with a minor, this is 14 to 18 years old. The statute of limitations for a felony violations of, as you see, it's a different section and code number, is 10 years from the time the victim reaches the age of 18. So they have till the age of 28 to press charges. Both this law and the prior law we just looked at was both written into law in 2020. Okay, this is Jared's website, and I will link it down below as well because I'm definitely not going to read it all. But this, as you see, this is his website. Just reading down through some of it. It's not, I didn't get the best feeling reading some of this. I'm just going to say, it seems to me like that he really, he tries to lay blame on what he went through in his childhood for everything that he's ever did wrong. And I can't go with that. I just can't go with that. Now, if he was like, I don't know, 10 to 12 years old when this happened with his 10-year-old cousin, I could go with that a little better. But he was 17 years old, forcefully holding her down. And some of the stuff that I've read, and I didn't even show you guys all of it because I don't want to make this video too long. It's already way longer. But there was so much here. You know, there's really a lot here. And you know me, I like to show you the proof and put it out there for you. I want you to form your own opinion on this. I know all of us really respected the hell out of these people for what they are doing. But looking deeper into it, listening to interviews of people that were a part of the team, and seeing that he's a grifter for the most part, he makes like $500,000 a month. But here on his page, he talks about he comes from a broken home, multiple marriages, tossed in the foster care system when he was 9 years old, often wondering why the new children and stepkids were put on a pedestal, and he felt abandoned. His grandparents stepped in, took custody of him, and that's how, he learned to cook, learned how to have proper hygiene and things of that nature. because he can't always say that he was good to them, nor can he say that he stayed out of trouble. And you got to respect all that he is just coming straight out. Up here, he says that there is no skeletons in his closet. Guess that's why he admitted to what he did to his cousin when she was 9, which in my opinion, that's terrible. But I do give him respect for being man enough to admit it anyway and not try to deny it. And he goes on and talks about how he was homeless, sleeping in parks, bushes, hotel stairwells, selling perfume door to door. He was eating in soup kitchens, and he was wandering around hotels looking for any leftovers. And yes, he even ate out of garbage cans. Goes on to say that he got married. He had an affair on his wife. He has an illegitimate daughter that wants nothing to do with him, although he did contact her and try to have a relationship with her, but she wants nothing to do with him. Goes on to talk about his hobbies and all of the certain things that he's done since he's been an adult, trying to make money. He's been bankrupt a couple of times. He's been through real estate. I mean, he's really done a lot, you know. So yeah, I will link this down below too. It's really just too much to read, but when I read it, it was like, yeah, I don't know. This is Jared's sister, Jessica May Leisek, Jessie May. And her post just hours ago really says a lot. It says, I feel like I'm living with a target on my back, but I'm used to it. Been standing up for what's right my whole life while others are put on pedestals for doing harm to others. I appreciate the person that is standing up for what's right, as well as I hope this will protect innocent children. We weren't protected, but we're trying to help others. And in case you're not aware, yes, this is my brother. I changed my name to my real name on Facebook a couple of months ago, so it'd be easier to get a hold of due to this. And she shared these Reddit screenshots. She did not redact the name, so I'm not going to either. I think it's important to mention that this raises a massive safeguarding issue with AWP. Through AWP, Jared and everyone working within AWP has access to and a position of trusting over grieving, vulnerable families who are going through the worst moments of their lives. They have access to young children who are frightened and hurting. If there is any evidence that he did it, whether it's enough for a court to convict him or not, he should be immediately removed from that position for the safety of every family who has or will work with AWP. You just cannot take chances on this when it comes to potential predators and deeply vulnerable people in crisis. Another reply. This reminds me of a post I made in a true crime forum that had a Kylie post shared here. Jared did a meet and greet, and the way he treated kids in it was atrocious. I went back to find my comments. I also have provided a link to the video. This man should not be around kids. This meet and greet happened long before Kylie was in the news, but somehow the subject came up in the context of the conversation. Oh, and the families of Nicholas Allen was there. Some of them kids, I need to fact check that it was Nicholas's family, but it was definitely the family of someone that they recovered. At times he had put them on camera, such as his younger sister, and prompt them to talk about Nick. It was gross. You don't exploit kids like that. It was Nick Allen's family. I just watched the part of the video with his younger sister. I wish I hadn't. It's chilling and infuriating how casual he was asking. This is from September the 14th, and from the way I'm reading this, she must be a delivery driver or something of the effect, you know, maybe a UPS, Amazon, something like that. But it says, I got an order today to deliver to Jared L., the outskirts of Redmond, Oregon. Delivery instructions said, go through the green gate and to the house. When I pulled up to the electric gate, it started closing, so I parked and got out of my vehicle with the order as I saw a man in the distance walking up the driveway. It was my older brother, Jared, who started screaming, F you, Jessica. No, Jared, you can't F me anymore, you psycho POS. You knew who had your order and was driving all the way out there. Don't be mad at me for supporting people who want to put you away. Be mad at yourself for the things that you have done to others. I might have been the first one USA'd, but I was far from the last. You are not a hero like others may think. You're a narcissistic POS that's about to go down for your own actions. I'm not afraid of you like others are. You can't brainwash me like you have done to others. You made your bed, and now it's time for you to toss and turn and lose some sleep over your own actions. It's only a matter of time that the proof of Jared is revealed. Thanks for showing your face today. Now we know where to send the police. I mean, so many of the posts on his sister's Facebook is truly disturbing and heartbreaking. She says she was kicked out of her whole family when she was 14 years old because she was hard. And his sister even says that she has had thoughts of unaliving herself. She doesn't even think it's a bad thing. So before you go and accuse people of lying and things like that, trying to do it for 5 minutes of fame, just don't. Because you don't know what you could be doing to someone when nobody wants to believe them. She goes on to talk about the religion that they were raised in, being Mormons, and in the Mormon religion, as long as you repent, then you're not considered a aurist anymore. And I did notice in Jared's emails that he talks up very religious. Also, a few hours ago, the YouTube creator, Iked Mel, was talking about this, and he had a call-in, and it was Anthony199. He was actually a diver for AWP. He was one of the members. He's an ex-diver now. He's no longer with. I thought this was interesting. I'm just going to play a small clip, link this video as well down below. But this is very interesting in my opinion, because not only what he says, and he has no reason to lie, y'all, he really doesn't, that everyone on the AWP team literally knew that Jared had done this. So, there again, Jared tried to put it off to his cousin that he was 12 years old when this happened. So maybe everyone in the AW team were also led to believe that he was 12 and she was 10. But listen to this small clip.
The allegations and the charges that he's been indicted on.
I was surprised with the indictment. I'm going to be honest. I knew about the charges. He was front and told us in the beginning, but when he wanted to hire me on full time, he did bring that up, stating that there could be some things you might hear from other people, and kind of wanted to give me his little side of the story, which basically you reiterated with his emails that he wrote, because he basically said the same story he's feeding the alleged victim, or victim, I shouldn't even say that, to what stories he's feeding everybody else online is kind of the same story into what he gave me.
Wow.
And he kind of basically went into the package was, it was a pattern of history where us as the older family members to break this pattern, and he tried to do light that made him seem less guilty.
So he was open about this, telling people, it seems like with AWP and you people that came on.
Correct. I would say more inner circle of AWP. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Well, there you go. I know this is a lot to take in at one time, especially if you were like me, you had no clue this was going on at all until just hours ago. So it's kind of shocking to me. And yeah, I just wanted to get out all this together, try to give you guys the information, the evidence, facts, whatever that I could find out there, and let you form your own opinion. What do you think? I mean, I really think that this is legit because he did admit it. And if these emails do come out to be true, then this guy needs to be in prison. And I believe if the rest of the AWP team knew, I do believe that he probably told them he was 12 years old and not 17. I think it's unfortunate. It sounds like that his childhood was one big cluster F, even from what his sister says. So, that is very sad, but it still just doesn't give a right to do what he did. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know what you think below in the comments. And until next time, this is Unjustified. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, Share and leave us a comment below on your thoughts of this video. And until next time, this is UnJustified.